I've always been someone who's done well in my exams, whether it's those little in-class tests or my mocks. But what led me to getting genuinely top 1% grades in my GCSEs was when I started using my weekends with discipline. It's easy to do well on your little in-class tests or your mocks without really putting in a lot of work. But public exams are a whole different story. So in this video today, I'll be breaking down how I exactly use my weekends properly to get the best grades possible. When I learned of this advice and started implementing it around 2 years ago, I noticed that my productivity actually skyrocketed within the first couple of weeks. But not only that, I was the happiest and most driven that I've been in my work since. But before we get into that, I've got a Discord community down below in my description full of very hardworking and like-minded people, but it's also a place where you can get personalized advice from myself. This video will be full of the advice that you don't really hear on YouTube. All the other stuff you hear are very basic, and it's the stuff that people just keep regurgitating over and over. Don't keep your phone in your room. Don't have any distractions in your room. Keep your desk clean. You've heard all this stuff before, but the advice that I'm going to give assumes that you do all of these basic things already. So the first thing that I would like to talk about is the time of day that you work. You may be thinking, how is that really important? If I work in the morning, if I work in the afternoon, and I still get the same work done, does it realistically matter? I think it does, because the quality of your work at different times of the day will be different depending on what times you eat. The main premise of this is that when your body is digesting food, that is using energy within your body, and if you try to do work while your body is digesting food, your energy is split across two different areas, your work and trying to digest that food. You may or may not have had experiences of eating and then feeling slightly sluggish or tired. I've definitely had that myself in the past. And that's the reason why I put my work before I eat every single time. And that's my general rule of thumb for whenever I'm planning what time to do my work. I do my work every morning before I eat breakfast. So let's say on a normal day for me, I wake up at 5:30. And I will do my work from about 5:45 to 7:45, then I'll start eating at 8. I don't do it the other way around. I don't wake up at 5:30, eat, and then do my work, because I know that my energy will be split across two different things when I start doing my work after I eat. And so how does that relate to your lunch and dinner times? Because you definitely would have eaten breakfast before you eat those two meals. From my own experience, and this could vary from person to person, I find that I'm in a state where I can focus very well around 1 to 2 hours after eating. So I eat, I don't work for a couple of hours because I'll be slightly distracted, then I can work again then. So ideally I'll eat nothing before I study, but there will be times where I will have to eat, and so I'll wait a couple of hours before I work again. So my day as a whole pretty much looks like this. I wake up around 5:30, study for a couple of hours, then eat. I go to the gym, so I'm not doing any mental work there. Then I work before I eat my lunch, have my lunch, don't study for a few hours, I read or do something else. Then I study again between 4 to 6 in the evening, and that's me done for the day. I don't really study after dinner ever. I've engineered my day so that I don't eat, then study straight away, because I know that my work won't be to its best quality if I do eat first. And that's a very basic thing to implement into your own life. If you find that you eat at certain times, studying before that will genuinely make a very big difference. You may not feel it straight away, but after some time, you'll begin to notice that when you study after you eat, that work just isn't the same compared to when you study before you eat. So that's just one thing to keep in mind when you're deciding about what times you actually want to study on a weekend. The next few pieces of advice will help you get the most work done during these times. You actually have a lot of time on the weekend to both do your work and to do the things that you enjoy. But considering you have exams coming up fairly soon, I'd recommend that you spend a bit more time doing your work properly. But even still, is there a way to ensure that you can get a lot of productive work done during these times? Fortunately for you, I would say yes. And the first thing that I've been doing religiously for the past few years, if not more, is using a very simple to-do list. This is a very basic piece of advice, probably the advice that you weren't expecting, but I use this to-do list in a very specific way to get a lot of work done. I genuinely do this all the time, and I think I made one this morning when I was doing my work. Yeah, I get a little flashcard and I write down all the tasks that I need to do during the day. This is a scrap flashcard that I messed up earlier, but I've got all the tasks in blue, if you can see properly. that I have completed today. So on this, I've got revising for my math exam, revising some philosophy, doing all my maths homework, and filming 2 videos and editing them. That is on my to-do list. And on this list, on the side, I've got the time that I would expect for that task to take. So revising for this maths exam I said it would take between 2 and 3 hours, and it did. So I put a tick next to that. Doing the philosophy revision I did this morning, 1.5 hours, it did, put a tick next to that. I'm filming the 2 videos right now, and I'll edit them later. And the final thing was the maths homework I'll do tonight. The difference between my to-do list and every other to-do list that you see online is that I've structured it in a very specific way. I've put all my tasks in the order that I'm going to do them. So I've got the maths revision first, then the philosophy revision afterwards, then filming the videos and do my maths homework after that. I will do those tasks in that exact order. And I've also got the time that I've expected, the time that I've given myself to go and do those things. I know for a fact that I will get all that work done within the allocated time. And that leads on to my next point, setting deadlines for the work that you do. So let's say I'm revising for my math exam and I have got 3 hours allocated for this task. If I'm approaching 2 hours 45, 2 hours 50, do I go over the 3 hours and finish at work, or do I just cut it off at 3 hours? I respect my time, so I will cut it off at 3 hours. It's not even that, I just know that I need to get all these tasks done during the day today. And the form of procrastination for me is actually spending too long on a task. You may be the complete opposite. You can't really get a task started. But for me, if I spend too long on a task, I label that as procrastination. You progressively get better at not procrastinating over time. So if you happen to spend maybe 2 hours on a piece of homework that you only expected it to take 90 minutes or an hour 45, you will eventually, and hopefully over time, when you practice this more and more, get the same quality of work done in a shorter period of time. And that's done by progressively overloading how much work you intend to fit in that time. So let's say the 10 questions that I did during my maths revision today took me 1 whole hour. Over time, I would expect myself to get faster at answering those questions. Well, of course, depending on the topic. But if I were on the same topic, I would get better over time. And that's called progressively overloading for one difficulty and volume. Next time, within an hour, I could answer 12 questions. I could answer 14. And that's how you get better and more accurate, as well as not procrastinating on a task. So yeah, having a to-do list while setting your deadlines, but also working at very specific times will skyrocket your productivity. I've been doing this for 2, maybe 3 years now, and I've noticed the difference ever since I first started. I think during my mocks in year 10, it was when the first time I tried this. So now when I'm doing my A-level mocks and my A-level revision, these few things have genuinely helped me a lot. I want you to at least try these, and I hope it will help you in the same way that it's helped me. Before I end, I've got a Discord down below in my description, and I'll see you in the next video.